Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome back from the weekend and happy Monday. I hope you had a nice few days off to, just recharge the batteries a little bit. If you're joining us on the replay, a huge hello to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please include in the word comments section, the word replay. So I'll catch your view because I definitely don't want to miss your view there. And I want to welcome my new friends here at Modern Mom as well. Now it's our second week as we're streaming to you so that you can also stay on top of relevant, important business and financial news. Now, a great day. I know, Joshua, it's so great to see you. I see you joining us, CrossX Fighter, on YouTube. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to tell you, I really like how the market closed. So let's start with that. The Dow closed up, my friends, 603 points. NASDAQ up 396 points. If you're invested in technology, you know how big that number is. NASDAQ up almost 400 points is great news, especially since the pullback last week. The S&P 500 also closed up 90 points today. U.S. stocks jumped quite well today. As you know, last week we saw quite a bit of pullback. Many of you may have looked at your financial statements over the weekend. Didn't look quite as pretty as it did a couple weeks ago. But certainly we're getting some positive news today as we're seeing more information coming out of vaccine optimism. And the tech names from last week definitely improved today. So on that note, you might be talking about, and you might be hearing about, last week we heard about Johnson & Johnson's vaccine going through FDA approval, final approval now. Pfizer, BioNTech, has announced that they're actually also going to be testing believe it or not, Pfizer's going to be testing a third dose of their pandemic COVID-19 vaccine as well. And there's more news. And this is what, I don't know if you saw this, but I want to make sure it's on your radar because this is big news. There's a new variant of the pandemic, the COVID-19 vaccine now in New York. That's right. A new strain researchers have found, they're calling it B.1.526, is now quickly spreading in New York City as if, we need another variant. But unfortunately, this mutation is said to possibly weaken the effectiveness of vaccines, according to the New York Times today. So hopefully we get better news sooner rather than later. This is on top of the variant that we're seeing here, spreading very quickly here in California as well. You heard about the variant coming out of the UK and Brazil and South Africa. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're that much closer yet. In fact, those of you who have children like I am, we got news this past weekend. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like our kids are going to be getting a vaccine anytime soon. They're talking possibly in the year, possibly in 2022. I know. I don't know. Things don't seem like they're getting back to normal quick enough, right? But there is some optimism, and that's coming from our friends at United Airlines. In fact, they believe the travel is going to come back sooner rather than later. And I don't know about you, but this is welcome news to me because I can't wait to get back on a plane and traveling somewhere. So United Airlines certainly thinks, and in fact, today they shared the news that they have placed their largest order yet for the Boeing 737 MAX jet, which, as you remember, this was grounded in March 2019 because of lots of controversy. A lot of people actually lost their lives because of technical difficulties pertaining to this plane. But in fact, United Airlines just decided to purchase more of these planes, saying that they were confident not only in the aircraft themselves, but also that the travel industry was coming back sooner rather than later. They also pushed up the delivery timeline for their 45 or so other 737 MAX jets that they previously ordered. So they're definitely doing their airplane shopping and done yet. Well, it looks like they believe that the air travel recovery will be set by next year and they want to be ready. In fact, here locally, we even see more direct flights from smaller hubs to Hawaii because of on United Airplanes. So really, really interesting. United Airlines isn't even done yet because United Airlines Holdings has also shared that they're actually creating a new twist on those who want to fly directly to the slopes in Colorado, in fact. And now what they're doing is not only are they selling tickets on their planes, but then you're from the plane, they're going to sell you tickets to board these very convenient, I guess, somewhat luxurious buses to get you to areas such as Breckenridge in Colorado, which if you haven't been, it's just so beautiful. One of my favorite places. So the ski, I guess you're within 100 yards of their ski gondola in Breckenridge, which is such a beautiful place. So now passengers and their bags are going to be transferred via bus at the Denver airport, connecting to your final destination about 105 miles to the west. They're also saying this is going to start actually on March 11th, which is my son's birthday. So this will be starting so that now you can actually take a plane, then take a bus all the way to Breckenridge. Now, if only there was no pandemic, I actually might take my son there for his birthday. But, he has school, so that's a whole nother story. But also what they're planning to do is these 35-seat buses, just so you know, these buses are pretty cool. They're going to have Wi-Fi, they're going to have a lavatory, they're going to have power plugs and a tray for you at each seat. And as a passenger, you will be required to wear face coverings when you're not eating. But this will still follow the same U.S. aviation rules regarding to the coronavirus. Now, the second route that they're going to have is going to be also from Denver Airport all the way to Fort Collins. Another really fun journey as well, and that'll start on April 1st. Now, on other news, I just couldn't believe it, but I don't know, I'm surprised, but it seems really, really normal now. It's like first comes Christmas, holidays, and then soon it's all about the Apple iPhone and what this next Apple iPhone will have, because analysts are already starting to predict what the next iPhone will have and what it won't have, and usually it comes out during fall. So I'm curious, for those of you who are joining us, what is it that you would love to see the next iPhone have? And more importantly, is this part of your equation or your budget for the year? Do you plan to maybe step up and pick up a new iPhone? Or it's just so interesting. It's become such a large purchase for so many households. And the technology seems to change, but I don't know if it changes enough to justify another investment. So I'm curious to see your thoughts on that. And we're going to have more news on that. Right now, a lot of it's sort of predictions and not completely finited yet. So I thought we would just, ask the question. I love to see what all of you think. So those of you who are joining me live, do let me know, what would you love to see in the new iPhone? And are you in the market for a new iPhone? I see Alina Law, I want to say welcome back. It's so great to have you here. I'm due for an iPhone this year. She says I upgrade every 2 years. Yeah, I'm usually one of those people that actually gets a new iPhone every year. I'm on that. I don't even know what the plan is called, but many of you may know. But basically, you have a plan set up with Apple, and every year you're able to refresh your technology, right? Because of the pandemic last year, I actually elected to keep my phone in place, and so by the end of this year, I can keep my phone, my kids can use it for something else, and then I'll be up for a new iPhone next year. So I don't know about you, Alina. I think I might look at it, depending on what the features are. I think I might look at getting a new iPhone, but the price tag keeps getting higher. It's hard to justify when the price is almost as expensive as a laptop these days, right? Now, talking about money, let's talk about the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Now, you might be like, Winnie, what is that? The American Rescue Plan, my friends, is this next round of coronavirus financial support that President Joe Biden has named this. It's the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. And as you know, it was passed by the House of Representatives early Saturday. And this is what we know so far. Okay, so this week we're expecting the Senate to hopefully, sign off on this, because what we're looking at is a March 14th deadline. That is the deadline where a lot of the unemployment relief benefits unfortunately expire for many Americans who continue to be unemployed. But here's what we know so far. So far what we know is that the $1,400 stimulus check seems like it's still going to be in order. So far it looks like we're going to get $1,400 in dependent relief, so that'll be good. There's also more talk about child tax credit, income tax credit. So those are all good things. But what is not currently and it looks like it's going to be chopped off this bill, is going to be what President Joe Biden was trying to push, the $15 minimum wage. Now, we know that the current minimum wage across the United States is around $7.25. So this is obviously a big jump. Many companies, as you know, already have their employees at $15 or above. Here in the state of California, I think minimum wage on the state level is already close to that. There are some states that are already at $15 an hour. And Costco has already announced that nationwide they were going to increase their minimum starting hourly wage at $16 an hour. So currently, it's on the chopping block. And I think it won't be passed as part of this bill. But the good news is the stimulus checks looks like they will probably continue on. And this will be for individuals earning up to an adjusted gross income of $75,000 a year, and married couples earning up to $150,000 a year, plus $1,400 for each dependent, as long as you meet that eligibility. So a family of four could receive $5,600, so quite a bit. Now, on other news, those of you who are watching are probably very knee-deep in tax season. I don't know, I'm a little behind. I will have to admit, not all my tax documents are all been organized. I have a whole stack of mail downstairs that I need to go through today to get over to my accountant. But tax season has officially begun, and the IRS has already received 35 million tax returns in 1 week alone as Americans race to file and get their tax refunds ASAP. So is there a chance that the tax filing date could get pushed back? A lot of people have been asking this. And according to the IRS, yes, it got delayed last year, but as of right now, no go, my friends, unless you are in the great state of Texas. But because of the weather and all the terrible things that occurred in recent weeks, those in Texas are actually getting more time to file their taxes. But for the rest of us outside of Texas, unfortunately, deadline still looks like it's going to be April 15th. So you got to make sure you get your documents ready and get that filed ASAP. The other thing is, you might be wondering, what are the benefits for filing not only just on time, but early, right? Early being I would say early is certainly before April is certainly a good time to file. So I'm going to tell you about some of the benefits, okay? Because this was actually shared recently. Number one, there's really no benefit to waiting. So that's a big thing. But one of the big benefits, of course, is if you are due coronavirus stimulus benefits and making income and child tax credits, that's really the best way to get your money sooner rather than later. Especially if you're due a refund, you definitely want to file soon so you can get your money back, right? Because it is your money. Also, when you file your taxes, this is the best way to ensure that the IRS has your banking information on file. So you want to file early as well. Here's something that I found that I think would be really helpful. Yeah, Alina and Kathleen, it's great to see all of you here. One thing also to know is when you file early, this actually helps you protect yourself against fraud. Now, why is that, you might wonder? Well, what happens is, I guess there's some people out there who decide to file taxes as if it's you. Okay, use your social security number, your private information. And if you're due a refund, they actually could collect your refund. It becomes very problematic because then you need to reach out to the IRS, let them know that that wasn't you, and actually you're filing your tax return now, and try to get your money back. Doesn't that just sound like the biggest nightmare ever? It actually is. So this could actually prolong you getting your refund for a very long time. So for those of you who expect a refund or tax credit or, stimulus check because, your income was different than you thought it would be, please do me a favor and file early, because we want to make sure you get every dollar that's due to you, and one of those crazy people trying to take your refund to be able to do so. The other good news is, if you're saying, well, Winnie, what about the third round, this American relief program, right? That President Joe Biden, this next third round of stimulus. Well, the good news is this: if you file early, tax returns can always be amended if you need to, because of any additional benefits that comes about because of stimulus packages and whatnot. So it's always good to file early, is sort of the I guess that's what we tell our kids, right? It's always good to be the early bird. And in case of this year, especially for those of you filing taxes, don't wait till the last minute. It's your money. Let's go ahead and get that filed. I guess if you owe taxes, then you might want to wait closer to April 15th. But nonetheless, make sure to file that on time and whatnot. And, a lot of people also ask whether if you do owe taxes, if you should pay via check, ACH, direct deposit, all that stuff, a debit card or a credit card. And actually, we're going to have some more conversations later this week about just that topic, because I'm going to have some friends joining us from the travel industry, points and miles and whatnot, to give you the lowdown of things that you should be paying attention to. So very exciting. Lots of great interviews coming up in the next couple of weeks, my friends. You're definitely going to stay close. Now, so people may be raising the file in hopes that they're going to get a sooner refund. So if you can, I would say absolutely do that. So it's so much to talk about, And Alina's saying that, yes, early bird gets to worm. In fact, that absolutely is the case. So I'm hoping you take that into account and you do that as well. And a lot of people have been asking too of whether or not they should seek out a tax professional. And I will say, especially this year's, if maybe previously you had a full-time job, you were receiving a W-2, and then you've been doing some freelancing work, right? And then maybe you transition to be self-employed, receiving that 1099 income. Definitely take the moment to find a tax professional, or at the very least use good software like maybe Intuit's like TurboTax. I know is really popular. And if your taxes are simple, that would be a great route, really cost effective. My friends at Intuit do a great job each year. But I would say if you're not sure, my experience is working with a tax professional has been immensely beneficial. And so if you have any questions on all of that, definitely submit them. Submit your questions. Know that, again, every single week we answer your questions live on the show on Friday. So if you have any financial questions, business questions, even social media marketing questions, definitely submit them to us, and we're happy to tackle them on Friday. You can submit them via direct message or any of the comments here, and my producers and I will go through the process of collecting them and answer as many as we can each week. So thank you so much. Happy Monday. You have here our live stream, which streams on 6 different platforms, and now plus Modern Mom every single day that the financial markets are open. Thank you so much for watching. Alina, Joshua, CrossX Fighter, Kathleen, and so many others all over. Thank you so much for joining us. And most importantly, thank you for sharing the show with those that you love and care about. As a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Be well, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Take care. Not next week, tomorrow. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.